Welcome back, you guys, and happy Monday. How are you doing? It's good to see everyone. Eric, it's so good to see you. Oh, you can't hear the video? Oh, man, what a ding dong. Well, at least you're all here now. Oh, man, I forgot one thing. I forgot that one thing. Well, we'll just go with it. We're just gonna go with it. We're just gonna go with it. And But you gotta hear it. You heard me singing. It's lame. Let's hear it. I'm welcoming you back. Thank you for telling me. I'm so thankful for you people to tell me things. Welcome back to the things that you once believed in. Welcome back to what you knew was right from the start. All you had to do was to be what you always have wanted to be. Welcome back to the love that is in your heart. That's it. I just wanted you to hear that, mellow out for a minute, and welcome you back. It's Monday. Hope it's not a manic Monday. And I hope you could hear that that time. The reason I have both of my YouTube channels going is because that's my way of just sticking it back to YouTube. So, and also if I do say something I'm nervous about, I'm going to delete it off one of these channels. The channel that I am the most safest on right now is Humboldt Hilltop Workshops. And so that is where I have asked everybody to go head on over to. If you want to be in the same chat room as most of us are in, and I'll have to check the Rumble out. I got some stupid trolls that just don't know what better to do with themselves than to point out dumb things on Rumble. But hey, any attention is better than no attention. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. Today's going to be a good one. It's going to be on taxes. If you don't know, my name is Deanna, and I am streaming out of Humboldt County, about Humboldt County to Humboldt County. In Humboldt County, we are learning about the making of America and our government's limitations. And the more I learn about our laws of the land and the founders' context, what they were doing and thinking and studying while they created the Constitution, the more I realize what a very precious thing we have. Only two civilizations, we learned this last Friday, only two civilizations in the recorded history that we have, verifiable, have lived under self-governing rule. Moses and the Israelites and the Anglo-Saxons. And the other thing I've learned from the start of this Constitution was that in 5,000 years, what happened with America was the greatest leap in innovation and technology and, what do they call them when there are always these booms, industrial revolution, communications revolution. These things didn't happen until people were free and really free. And then more people were able to be free. But what I'm afraid of right now is that we do have the very government that we were warned about, and what they, being the founders, tried to safeguard us from was the tyranny of this government. Too much power, too much selling out, too much ways to use us, take our money, and be dirty. And the problem is, the reason why they're continuing to get away with it is because we are not calling them out on it. Why are we not calling them out on it? Because we don't really know how. So, we're learning. And I'm learning with you. And if you expected like a great teacher to teach you a course, very professional style, or like, super great podcast style, this is not it. This is me studying along with you. This time I've chunked out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 12:30 Pacific is for me to study this, and I'm putting my camera on for you. I have pre-read some of this. I have downloaded the material. We're ready to go. I'm ready to share it with you. And here we go. We're getting in 7 minutes into it. And, but anyways, let's see. We need our, I'm not in where I'm usually at here. Let's see. If you go to standuphumboldt.news, then, and you go to the Constitution tab all the way over on the right. Oh, I'm blowed up here. That's why I can't see it. So you have to go to more. Where's the rest of my stuff here? The Constitution tab. Just go to the Constitution study. If you don't have your own copy of this kit and you can afford to get it, it's like $70, and I got mine in 4 days. Either one of these first two tabs will take you to the National Center for Constitutional Studies. And they also have a lot of free resources, which I need to get all of them, right? I need to get all of them. So anyway, we're just uploading some of the material that I'm sharing today with you. So what we're doing today is questions 13 through 19. And guess what, guys? This is about taxes. I did a little pre-reading today, but not much. So I'm going to be reading. It's a lot of reading usually. But once I start reading, I typically just stay with the course. I don't give a lot of conjecture, but I do give some of mine. This is my study. Like I said, I'm sharing my study openly and transparently with you. This is the first time I've ever gone through it. I'm a whosoever nobody who's just being vulnerable here. So if you want to learn about the making of America, by all means, please join along, because it's been pretty fascinating. So the first question that, and I want to say hi to Benjamin. Good to see you. Good morning. Benjamin, Nora, and Eric. You guys are my biggest supporters. Missing a couple of you. But maybe you are here and you're just quiet. Maybe you're hunting rabbits. Okay, question 13. What are direct taxes, and how does the Constitution require them to be apportioned? So on page 275 of The Making of America, which I have downloaded for you here, you can see, let me see if I can blow this up a little more for you. For us, there we go, that's much better. We're going to start at where it's answering the question for us. This is a very easy, simple study. Anybody could do it. It says right here, direct taxes in the middle of page 275 under provision 17 from Article 1, 2, 3. Direct taxes levied against the property of private individuals shall be apportioned among the states according to population. We're going to talk about taxes, and also we're going to answer the question that we were kind of left off with in last week's study about the House of Representatives and choosing their electors, and the problem they were having with tiny states like Virginia and large states like Georgia. And so the wrap up of this is going to be finishing that up. Who chooses the officers in the House? What are they doing? How is a vacancy filled? All that stuff. So taxes and House of Representatives. That's what we're doing today. So right now we're on, again, what are direct taxes? How does the Constitution require them to be apportioned? And we're gonna just start reading right here. We will discuss the interesting problem of direct taxes as well as indirect taxes when we come to Article 1, Section 9, Paragraph 4. This present provision gave each state the right not to have its citizens taxed any higher than the other states in proportion to its population. What? The debate on this provision centered around two questions. One, is population the most equitable basis for assessing federal taxes against the states? And 2, if population as adopted as the basis for assessing taxes, should slaves be counted? With reference to the first question, the delegates to the Constitutional Convention decided that population was a more equitable basis for assessing direct taxes than any other. With references to the second question of including slaves as part of the population, the southern states objected on the ground that the slaves had no property but were property themselves. The other states pointed out that the South wanted to include slaves as part of the population in calculating the number of representatives to which they were entitled, but now they refused to count them in assessing their proportion of taxes. It was finally compromised and an agreement reached that each slave would be given a weight of 3/5 in determining both population and taxation. This decision was not meant to be demeaning to the slaves, but was simply a compromise between population and taxation. Why is population a better basis for assessing taxation than the value of the land? Now, I don't know if we're going to get into all that. Let me see. Our question here again. I think we answered our question here. And I think I've got off my page here. I clicked too many times. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And I'm too big. I can't get out of this. Let me get down here. There we go. Okay, Constitution study. Sorry about that. Let me drop this too in case you want to follow along there. Man, I thought I was so set up this morning, you know, for that song and everything. Whatever. It's always that way, you know? It's always that way. How can I lose this again? I just went here. Wrong one. There. Okay. All right, we're going to the next question. Because we answered that. The 3/5, the whole thing to read, you can read about it. The pages are there. I'm not going to get bogged down in that. 278. What is the constitutional purpose of a census and how often is it to be conducted? So let's look at that. Actually, I'm going to open up another tab and leave the questions up on it as well. Okay. What page are we on here? Blah, 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 blah. We're on number 14. What is the constitutional purpose of a census and how often is it to be conducted? What page did it say? 278. Okay, let's look at 278 here. Here we go. Oh, charts and graphs. I love me some charts and graphs. A census of the population of each state shall be taken within 3 years after this Constitution is adopted and every 10 years after. This provision gives every American the right to be represented in Congress according to his state's proportion of population as corrected by a new census every 10 years. The first census was conducted in 1790 and has been conducted every 10 years since. Although designed originally by the founders for this purpose of merely determining the extent of the population in each of the states, the federal census has become a major investigative device of the national government to determine a multitude of social and economic facts as well. And you can read more about the census, but we answered the question. So let's go to the next question. 15. How did the founders settle the question of the size of the House of Representatives? 279 to 280. Let's check it out. There's the answer right there. It says it at the top of the page. I love this study, you guys. To avoid having too many members in the House of Representatives, each congressman must represent at least 30,000 people. This provision was designed to give the people the right to have a Congress small enough to manage the lawmaking process. California is a mess because we're too big. We are like its own country here. That's why they call it California. All history has demonstrated that large assemblies are boisterous, confusing, and inefficient. If we had one congressman for every 30,000 Americans today, our House of Representatives would have 10,000 members, and every one of them wanting to give a speech. Fortunately, the 30,000 figure was the minimum, not the maximum, so the Congress had made no attempt to keep this ratio as the population increased. All they did was try to maintain a proportionate representation. However, by 1921, each congressman represented an average of 211,877 people, and an effort was made to enlarge the membership of the House. However, it was already becoming unwieldy, so the resolution was defeated. In 1929, a bill was passed which provided that no matter how much the population of the country increased, the number of congressmen could never exceed 435 members. A resident commissioner representing Puerto Rico and 4 delegates representing the District of Columbia, the Virgin Islands, Guam, and American Samoa are treated as regular congressmen. They serve on committees and debate, but they cannot vote. Today, each congressman represents approximately 690,000 people. Over 500,000 people. Dang. 16. How were the states eventually represented in the House? 280, 281. Let's see if we can just find the answer right here. Pretty sure we will on page 280. Provision 20 from Article 1, 2, and 3 says each state shall be entitled to have at least one representative, even if it is disproportionate to the rest of the states. This provision gives the small states the right to be represented in Congress by one delegate, even if their population is not sufficient to be proportionate to the representatives of the other states. This means that if a state has a population of less than 500,000, which is what the average congressman represents today, that state will have one representative in the House. As of 1984, the states having only one congressman were Alaska, Delaware, North Dakota, South Dakota, Vermont, Washington, and Wyoming. Let's see, 17. How is a vacancy in the House of Representatives filled? Right here, under Provision 21 from Article 1, 2, and 3, as a temporary expedient until the first census is taken, each state is entitled... Where'd it go? Yeah, number 20, Provision 22, on the bottom here. If the seat of a representative becomes vacant because of death, resignation, or some other cause, the governor of that state shall call for a new election to fill the vacancy. Did we answer that well enough? Let me see. How is a vacancy in the House of Representatives filled? Yeah, I think we answered that. It is filled, a vacancy is filled by the governor calling for a new election. This provision assigns a right to the states to fill a vacancy in the House of Representatives at the earliest possible date. I have seen that done in my lifetime a time or two, right? It is interesting that the founders felt that a vacancy in the House of Representatives could wait until a special election had been called, whereas a vacancy in the Senate was considered so detrimental that smaller body of the legislature that the governor is authorized to appoint an interim senator to fill the office until the next election if he so desires. Yeah, that's what I read. It said somewhere about the governor filling that seat. But I didn't read that with you guys, but I did read it before that the governor can, that's because it's the next question. Let's see. Who chooses the offices in the House of Representatives and what are their duties? The House of Representatives shall choose its own speaker to preside over its own procedures. Do I not? Oh yeah, show more. You gotta hit show more sometimes because then it doesn't. This provision is part of the right granted to the House of Representatives to manage its own affairs. Referring to the presiding officer as the Speaker of the House is a carryover from the British Parliament, where the members elected someone to speak to the King in their behalf. He therefore became known as the Speaker of the House and presided over Parliament while it was in session. In the United States, the Speaker is always elected by the majority party and wields a significant role in giving priority to his party's program. In Great Britain, the Speaker is nonpartisan, more or less, I'd say less, and may function through successive administrations. Once a speaker is chosen, he holds that office as long as he remains a member of the House of Representatives and his party remains in the majority. And we saw that with McCarthy. And it's going to ask us about their duties. Yeah, here we go. Their duties. And what are their duties? Okay, what are their duties? Duty. Number 1, he supervises the daily business of the House. 2, he decides which member will be recognized to speak. 3, she appoints the members to the special conference committees. That is their job. That is what they do. Did I skip a question about the governor? No, I don't know. 19. What is the significance of the authority of the House of Representatives to bring impeachment charges against federal officers? What is the significance? What is the significance of the authority? All right. Interesting. I read something else too today. I'm not seeing it here. I had an answer in my head. It was exclusive. They have the exclusive authority, but that isn't this question. So I'm mixed up. Let me see. What is the significance of the authority of the House of Representatives to bring impeachment charges against federal officers? Oh. I see. I see. We're on another page too. Do I not have that page for you? 285. Yeah, I do. Here it is. Okay. Oh, did we finish reading all their duties? Yeah, we did. So clerks, blah, blah, blah. That's all clerk stuff. 25. Okay, I'm sorry. The House of Representatives shall have the exclusive authority to bring impeachment charges against any federal judges or officials in the executive branch of government. That's what struck me. They have the exclusive authority. What is the significance of the authority? It's exclusive. That's my answer. This provision is designed to give the people's representatives the right to bring charges against the judicial or administrative officers of government where there is evidence of misfeasance or malfeasance. The judicial power to bring an indictment or impeachment charge against federal officers is a carryover from the powers of Parliament. And they go blah, blah, blah into that. I'm not going to do that. The page is there for you. I wanted to read Madison's. Let's see. No, I'm going to end it there. That's what I like about that. They have exclusive authority. That is the answer to the question. The reading material will be there for you until Wednesday if you want to go through and read all this. Sometimes these get to being too long. There's a lot of reading. Sometimes I don't have to read all that. You can read it too. And, you know, this is a study. I'm trying to answer those questions, not read the entire chapters to you. Sometimes it's necessary. If you want to read more of it, you can. I just think that was a good overview of those questions. And next Wednesday, we will be moving on to a new session. Can you believe it? We're starting to pick up the pace a little bit here. It's a lot of prep work for me. I have to take pictures of this stuff, and then I have to email it. Then I have to unextract the zip file. Then I download it. It takes me like an hour to do that. So it shouldn't, but it does. But what's great about doing that is I am able to skim read. I'm kind of a fast reader and a skim reader. So, and then I always like to go through it afterwards too and try to skim read even better. Sometimes I can and sometimes I can't. So we're getting on to session 5, you guys. Woohoo! It'll be the Making of America number 23, and we'll be getting on session 5 because these sessions they really take a long time to get through. I wish we could do a whole session in one sit down, but it would probably be a 2-hour course, you know. Because, you know, we're the next one. Let's see what we're getting into next. The 5,000-Year Leap. We're going to get back into this book. And I'll be reading about the 4th principle, the role of religion. Good. I hope it puts a fire under the feet of the Christians here in Humboldt County and everywhere in this country, because let me tell you something. God is moving in Humboldt County. We had a missionary who was a captive for 6 years who was freed, and he's coming to my church Wednesday to share his story. I went to his church last Wednesday and did stream some of the worship there. The house was a rockin'. It was a rockin'. God is moving in Humboldt County, you guys. Don't think for a second that we have to be left to these satanic, fraudulent criminals and their behavior, because we have the remedy. We have the intelligence. We're not the liars. We're the honest people that want to do things righteously. So, God is on our side. There is nothing to fear. There is nothing to fear. The more I learn about what these government's limitations are, the easier it's going to be to get our gavel back. And we have people that are earnestly working on that for Humboldt County. We have people that are assigned counties in California, and they are already at work. And they are coming to bring disclosure. Mark my words, it is happening, Humboldt County. It is happening. So, if God is for us, who can be against us? What can man do to us? Not much. They can try, but they don't win. So we have God, we have knowledge, we have history. These people that we're up against, they got nothing on us. They just don't. I mean, they have taglines and propaganda and what's trending. That's not going to get him very far. So I'm feeling great. There's a lot of good things going on, and this isn't really the stream for it, but maybe I'll get to come back later with a friend and stream. I have several friends that I've been talking to, and we've got a lot of things going on. It's summertime is coming, so I hope you're getting out and about in your community and connecting with farmers and ranchers and people that make are movers and shakers and make things happen. And just be mindful, like, hey, what if the internet gets shut off tomorrow? Are you going to be able to get your supplies? You need to start thinking about that, because there's a lot of things going on around us. A lot of people are not paying attention to, but I just want to encourage you to make sure that you have some connections in your community. Most people I know farmers. Even my sister in Chicago, I mean, she worked for a farmer's market for decades, 2 decades now. Farmer from Wisconsin comes into Chicago. We got to be thinking about these things, you guys. If you're not looking around... Oh man, Rumble looks like it didn't connect again. I don't understand what's going on. Rumble's been a booger lately, right? I found something out. A little tiny little bit of information, if you don't know. If you watch Salty Cracker, he said last week his age. He's 48 years old. You're welcome. All right, you guys, I really do love you. Be praying for our country, and be praying for God's spirit of courage to be poured out on our men and women, because we need it, and we don't need to be afraid. And it gets exhausting just sharing information. It's solution time, remedy time, time to get to work. It's time to get to work. All right, I got to get to work. I got to go get compensated for that job I lost. Oh yeah, it's time. It's time. See you later. I love y'all. Bye.